Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Patek Philippe 5130J World Time Automatic. You can see and purchase this yellow gold Patek Philippe World Time Automatic on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with additional accessories included, high resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details on our sales listing. Now it's important to note that this watch was sandwiched between the 2000 to 2005 5110 and the 2016 reference 5230. So those two watches bracket this example, which had a wonderful run from 2006 to 2015, and given the fact that this is a new model year for the succeeding model, I'm going to go over all the fundamentals of the 5130J and then talk a little bit about how it compares to the new 5230 for clarity. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the watch is 39.5 millimeters across the round of the case. Now that does not include the crown or the crown guard or the pusher adjuster for the world time function. In terms of thickness, the watch is exactly 10 millimeters thick, and in terms of lug to lug measurements, the watch is approximately 46.5 millimeters from lug to lug. Now here's the thing, the newer watch is exactly 1 millimeter smaller across the round of the case, but I'm going to get into exactly why the look on the wrist is so different when I broach the 5230. But first, let me talk a little bit about how this watch fits. You can see the lugs are dramatically sloped. Now there are going to be those who, even as moderately sized as this watch is, will find that they are borderline to wear it. The reason it can wear on a wrist, in my opinion, as small as 13 centimeters in circumference is because these lugs slope down gracefully and beautifully. They drape themselves around your wrist, so even if you're borderline for lug overlap at the edge of your wrist, the fact that the lugs sink down and around your skin rather than thrusting out means that aesthetically it's easily acceptable. Now moreover, it's important to note that this is a high quality brown alligator leather strap with calfskin on the bottom. You'll also note Patek Philippe's signature pull tab spring bars. They do this so you can easily swap the strap at home, clean the space between the lugs, and of course accomplish all of this without risking your perhaps amateur watchmaking talents and a screwdriver adjacent to the beautifully polished lugs. I don't know, perhaps you're a pro, but I know I like to have the pull tabs for security and peace of mind. Now the watch has a very substantial deployant in matching yellow gold, fully finished, polished inside and out, with a filigree style Patek Philippe Calatrava cross. Very solid. It works to counterbalance the watch on the wrist, so it doesn't have a tendency to hula hoop. That can happen when you have a heavy precious metal watch with an undersized clasp or pin buckle. Not the case here. It's very substantial. Now you note that there are a couple of changes here. If you are familiar with the 5230, this may be as good a time as any to describe the differences. In terms of movement, there is no change, as this is a late model example of the 5130 with the caliber 240 HU, so universal hours, ceramic bearings on a micro rotor, so it's thin and the rotor doesn't cover your view of the movement. Again, both this as well as the successor feature the Patek Philippe seal, visible on the bridge rather than the older Geneva hallmark. Both this and the successor feature the free-sprung, shock-resistant Gyromax balance with the new Spiromax silicon amagnetic hairspring. It's a 33 joule movement, and it has approximately a 40 to 45 hour power reserve. Again, like its successor, it oscillates at 21,600 vibrations per hour, a traditional 3 Hz beat rate. And of course, you can see when I turn it at oblique angles to the light, the gorgeous perlage across the base plate beneath the rotor, the gorgeous linear Côte de Genève across the rotor itself as well as the bridges, and all of the angles of the bridges beautifully rounded off and mirror polished, true hand-laid anglage. All of the screw heads polished and their slots chamfered. This is as good as it gets in terms of finish, which leaves us with a matter of opinion and personal preference. And here we contrast the 5130 with the new 5230. Fundamentals. Of course, the new watch, the 5230, does not have the crown guard. I find it to be graceful. I like the way it integrates the crown with the flank of the case. It's a seamless flow. Again, the new watch does not have that. The crown sits kind of stark against the arc of the case in more of a vintage fashion. The new watch does not have the graceful integrated Calatrava style lugs. The 5230 has stepped lugs, so there's a clear demarcation where the lug ends and the case begins. Moreover, it's important to note that the bezel changes on the new 5230. The 5130 features a very distinctly domed bezel. It curves inboard. It's a more integrated look, and as you can see, it continues the compound curvature of the case flank. The 5230 has a traditional conical bezel, so it's a straight upward sweep rather than an upward arc. Moreover, the new watch actually changes the world time chaptering a little bit, with certain cities supplanting old favorites. So on the new watch, you have Buenos Aires and you have Dubai added. Rio's gone, and so is Riyadh. So if you live in one of those expunged cities, you might want to stick with the 5130. On the other hand, if you are from Dubai or Buenos Aires, the newer watch may offer something to you. Here's another critical change. The hands have changed at center. The hands themselves are different. Quite frankly, it's hard to describe, but whereas the hour hand in this case features a large round aperture, the new hour hand features a sort of modified pentagon. And of course, the Dauphine hand for the minute, which you see on the 5130, has been swapped in for a different shape. Also, the center dial guilloche has changed rather dramatically. So you can see there are many changes between the 5130 and the successor. Some will say that this watch is a little bit more graceful, and it comes down to that gorgeous domed bezel, the seamless integrated flow of the lugs, and the smooth sweep of the crown guards up and over, enveloping the crown on the flank. Now, finally, there is a difference in size. The new watch is 1 millimeter smaller, so if you have a big wrist and you want a world time Patek Philippe, this is 39.5 millimeters across the round of the case against the newer watch, the 5230's 38.5. This watch plays even larger in comparison to its successor, however, because of the visual mass of the crown guards. So thusly empowered, I invite you to visit this Patek Philippe 5130J 18-karat yellow gold world time and purchase it on our website.